You're suffering right now. Maybe not in this exact moment, but you're carrying something heavy, something difficult, something that keeps you up at night or drains your energy during the day. A failure that haunts you, a challenge that feels insurmountable, a loss that broke something in you, a struggle that makes you wonder if you're strong enough. And you probably think that suffering is the problem, that if you could just get past this struggle, eliminate this pain, solve this difficulty, then you could finally be happy, finally be successful, finally start actually living. But what if you're completely wrong about that? What if the struggle isn't the obstacle to your growth, but the actual path itself? What if your suffering isn't what's holding you back, but what's forging you into someone capable of more than you can currently imagine? Friedrich Nietzsche spent his entire life in pain, chronic illness, devastating migraines, social isolation, professional rejection, near blindness. He knew suffering intimately, and from that suffering, he developed one of the most revolutionary insights in philosophy. Your struggles aren't punishments to be endured or problems to be solved. They're gifts, the raw material of your transformation. He wrote, "What doesn't kill me makes me stronger," and everyone thinks they understand what he meant. But most people have completely missed the point. He wasn't saying suffering automatically makes you stronger. He was saying suffering is the only way to become stronger. That strength without resistance is impossible. That character without adversity doesn't exist. Today I'm going to show you why Nietzsche was right, why your struggles are the greatest gift you'll ever receive, why the difficulties you're trying to escape are exactly what you need, and why understanding this will completely transform how you approach every hard thing in your life. This isn't toxic positivity. This isn't pretending pain doesn't hurt. This is understanding what suffering actually is and how to use it to become someone extraordinary. Let's begin. The first gift. Your struggles. Reveal what you're actually made of. Here's the first gift your struggles give you, and it's one most people never appreciate. Difficulty reveals your true character. Not the character you think you have, or the character you perform for others. Your actual character, stripped of all pretense and social performance. Nietzsche understood that comfort is a mask. When everything's easy, when life is going well, when you're not being tested, you can pretend to be almost anyone. You can perform strength, wisdom, integrity, courage. You can tell yourself stories about who you are and what you're capable of. But struggle rips that mask off. Difficulty forces you to see yourself clearly. When things get hard, when you're under pressure, when you're suffering, you can't maintain the performance anymore. The real you emerges, and that revelation, as uncomfortable as it might be, is a gift. Think about the last time you faced real difficulty. Not minor inconvenience, but actual struggle. What happened to the person you thought you were? Did your supposed strength hold up, or did you discover you were more fragile than you believed? Did your claimed values stay intact, or did they crumble under pressure? Did you respond with the courage you thought you had, or did you discover fear you didn't know existed? This revelation isn't punishment, it's information. Invaluable information about who you actually are versus who you've been pretending to be. Most people spend their entire lives never really knowing themselves. They live in comfort zones where they're never truly tested. They believe the stories they tell about their own character. They think they're brave because they've never faced real fear. They think they're strong because they've never encountered genuine difficulty. They think they have integrity because their values have never been truly challenged. Then struggle arrives, and they discover that the person they thought they were doesn't actually exist. That strength they believed they had evaporates. That courage they claimed dissolves. That integrity they performed for others vanishes when maintaining it becomes costly. And yes, that discovery is painful. It's humbling. It forces you to face that you're not who you thought you were. But Nietzsche would tell you, that's the gift. Because you can't become better if you don't know what you actually are. You can't develop real strength if you're delusional about the strength you already have. You can't build authentic character if you're operating on a fantasy of who you are. Your struggles strip away the delusion. They force you to see yourself clearly. They show you exactly where you're weak, where you're afraid, where you're unprepared. And only with that clear vision can you actually begin the work of becoming someone stronger. The comfortable person lives in a pleasant delusion. The struggling person faces reality. And reality, however harsh, is the foundation for actual growth. So when struggle reveals that you're weaker than you thought, less prepared than you believed, more afraid than you admitted, don't run from that revelation. Thank it. Because now you know what you're actually working with. Now you can stop performing strength you don't have and start building strength you need. That's the first gift, the gift of self-knowledge. Brutal, uncomfortable, but absolutely necessary self-knowledge. The second gift, your struggles, force you to develop capabilities you'd never otherwise build. Here's the second gift, and this one is transformative. Struggle forces you to become capable of things you'd never develop in comfort. Every difficult situation requires you to develop new capacities, new skills, new strengths, just to survive it. Nietzsche saw this pattern everywhere. People remaining weak and limited as long as life was easy, then suddenly developing extraordinary capabilities when circumstances demanded it. Not because they suddenly discovered hidden talents, but because necessity forced them to build what they needed. Think about the capabilities you've developed in your life, the real ones, not the things you learned in school or picked up casually. The actual strengths you rely on when things get hard. Almost all of them came from struggle, didn't they? You developed resilience because you had to bounce back from failures. You developed problem solving because you faced problems that wouldn't go away on their own. You developed emotional strength because you went through pain that could have broken you. You developed resourcefulness because you encountered situations where the obvious solutions didn't work. Every real capability you have came from being forced to develop it by circumstances that demanded it. And the capabilities you don't have, those are the ones you've never needed because you've never faced struggles that required them. This is why comfort is so dangerous. Not because it feels bad, but because it feels so good that you never develop the capabilities that come from difficulty. You stay weak because you never encounter resistance strong enough to force you to become strong. Your struggles are forcing you to build psychological muscles you didn't know you needed. Every time you face something hard and push through it, you're not just surviving that specific situation. You're developing a capacity that will serve you for the rest of your life. The person who's never failed has never developed the capacity to recover from failure. The person who's never faced rejection has never developed emotional resilience. The person who's never struggled financially has never developed resourcefulness about money. The person who's never been truly alone has never developed the capacity for self-reliance. And when those people inevitably face those struggles later in life, because everyone does eventually, they're devastated. They have no capacity to handle it. They've spent decades in comfort thinking they were fine, only to discover they're completely unprepared for difficulty when it arrives. Nietzsche would tell you, your current struggle is demanding that you develop capabilities you don't currently have. That demand feels overwhelming. It feels like too much. It feels like you're not equipped to handle this. And you're right. You're not equipped yet. But you're being forced to become equipped. The struggle isn't asking if you can handle it with your current capabilities. It's demanding that you develop new ones. Every difficult client, every financial struggle, every relationship challenge, every failure, every setback is forcing you to become more capable than you currently are. To develop skills, strengths, and capacities that simply can't be developed any other way. You can take a class on resilience, but you don't actually become resilient until life breaks you and you have to put yourself back together. You can read about courage, but you don't develop real courage until you're terrified and you act anyway. You can study problem solving, but you don't become a real problem solver until you face problems that won't go away and you have to figure them out. The struggle you're in right now is building you. It's forcing you to stretch beyond your current capacity. It's demanding that you become more than you currently are. And yes, that process is painful. Growth always is. But the person on the other side of this struggle will be more capable than you are now. They'll have strengths you don't currently have. They'll be equipped for challenges that would destroy the current version of you. That's the second gift, the gift of forced development. The gift of becoming capable of more by being required to handle more. The third gift, your struggles. Clarify what actually matters to you. Here's the third gift your struggles give you, and it's one of the most valuable. Difficulty has a way of burning away everything that doesn't actually matter, leaving only what's genuinely important to you. Nietzsche understood that most people don't actually know what they value. They think they know. They have opinions about what matters, but those opinions are untested. They're abstractions. And abstractions dissolve under real pressure. When you're comfortable, everything seems important. Your career and your hobbies and your social life and your various projects and your many goals. You can juggle it all. You can pretend it all matters equally. You can avoid making hard choices about what you actually prioritize. Then struggle arrives, real difficulty, real scarcity of time or energy or resources. And suddenly you can't maintain everything. You have to choose. You have to decide what actually matters enough to protect and what you're willing to let go. That forced clarification is a gift because it cuts through all your self-deception about what you value. It forces you to reveal your priorities through your choices rather than your words. Think about a time when you faced real scarcity. Maybe time, maybe money, maybe energy. What did you protect? What got your limited resources? That's what you actually value, regardless of what you claim to value. When you're exhausted and can barely function, what do you still make time for? That's what matters. When money is tight and you have to make hard choices, what do you refuse to cut? That's your real priority. When your energy is depleted and you can barely do anything, what do you still show up for? That's your genuine value. And often the answer surprises you. You thought you valued your career above everything, but when you got sick, you realized relationships matter more. You thought money was just a means to an end, but when you lost it, you discovered your sense of worth was deeply tied to it. You thought you didn't care about status, but when you lost it, you discovered it mattered more than you admitted. Nietzsche would say, struggle forces honesty. It strips away the stories you tell about your values and reveals what you actually value through the choices you make under pressure. This revelation can be uncomfortable. You might discover you don't actually value what you thought you valued. You might find that your actions under pressure reveal priorities that conflict with your self-image. You might realize you've been lying to yourself about what matters to you. But that discomfort is the price of clarity. And clarity is essential for living intentionally, rather than just drifting through life, claiming to value things you don't actually prioritize. Your current struggle is forcing this clarification right now. It's demanding that you choose, that you prioritize, that you reveal through your choices what actually matters to you. Pay attention to what you're protecting in your struggle, what you're willing to sacrifice for, what you refuse to give up despite the cost. That's your real value system, not the one you perform for others or tell yourself you have. And once you see that clearly, once you know what you actually value rather than what you think you should value, you can start building a life that's actually aligned with your genuine priorities instead of your imagined ones. That's the third gift, the gift of forced clarity, the gift of discovering what you actually care about when you can't pretend everything matters equally anymore. The fourth gift, your struggles, connect you to your deepest strength. Here's a gift most people never discover because they're too busy running from difficulty. Your struggles force you to find a kind of strength that doesn't come from comfort or confidence or favorable circumstances. A deeper strength, the kind that comes from having nothing left to lose and choosing to persist anyway. Nietzsche called this amor fati, the love of fate, the ability to not just endure what life throws at you, but to embrace it, to find meaning in it, to use it as fuel rather than letting it break you. When things are going well, your strength is untested. You might feel strong, but you don't know if you actually are because you've never had to draw from your deepest reserves. You're operating on surface-level resources, motivation, confidence, favorable circumstances. But struggle depletes all of that. The motivation disappears, the confidence crumbles, the favorable circumstances vanish, and you're left with a choice: give up or find a different kind of strength. Most people give up. They tell themselves they have hit their limit. They decide they're not strong enough. They look for exits. But some people find something else, something deeper, a strength that doesn't depend on feeling strong, a persistence that doesn't require motivation, a determination that exists even when hope is gone. Nietzsche knew this strength intimately. He found it during years of chronic pain, professional failure, and social isolation. When every external reason to continue was gone, he found an internal reason, not based on circumstances or confidence or favorable odds, based on something else entirely. This is the strength you can't access until everything else is stripped away. You can't find it when you're comfortable because you don't need it. You can't discover it when things are going well because you're using easier forms of motivation. Only when you're struggling, when you're depleted, when you have every reason to quit, can you find this deeper reserve. And once you found it, once you know it exists in you, nothing can truly break you again. Think about a time you kept going despite having every reason to stop, despite being exhausted, defeated, hopeless, despite everyone telling you to give up, despite your own mind telling you it was impossible. What made you continue? It wasn't confidence because confidence was gone. It wasn't motivation because motivation was exhausted. It wasn't hope because hope had died. It was something else, something harder, something that exists below all those surface-level resources. That's the strength Nietzsche was talking about. That's the gift your struggle is giving you access to. And here's what makes this gift so valuable. Once you've connected with that depth of strength, once you know it exists in you, every future struggle becomes more manageable. Because you know that even if you lose everything else, even if every external support disappears, even if you're completely alone and exhausted and defeated, there's still something in you that can persist. That knowledge is unbreakable. That strength is permanent. And you can only discover it through genuine struggle. The comfortable person doesn't know if they have this strength. They hope they do. They think they probably do. But they don't know because they've never needed to find out. You're finding out right now. Your struggle is forcing you to dig deeper than you ever have, to find resources you didn't know existed, to discover a capacity for persistence that surprises even you. That's the fourth gift, the gift of discovering your deepest strength, the gift of learning that there's something in you that can't be broken by circumstances, no matter how hard they get. The fifth gift, your struggles. Earn you wisdom that cannot be taught. Here's another gift that struggle gives you, real wisdom. Not the kind you get from books or advice, the kind you earn through experience, the kind that comes from making mistakes, suffering consequences, and learning lessons that you'll never forget. Nietzsche understood that the most valuable wisdom can't be transferred. It can't be taught in a classroom or learned from a mentor. It can only be earned through direct experience, usually painful experience. You can read about resilience, but you don't gain the wisdom of resilience until you've been broken and had to rebuild. You can study failure, but you don't understand it until you've failed at something that mattered to you. You can hear about loss, but you don't gain that wisdom until you've lost something irreplaceable. Every struggle you face is teaching you something that cannot be taught any other way. And that earned wisdom becomes part of your permanent operating system. It changes how you see the world, how you make decisions, how you evaluate situations. Think about the hard lessons you've learned in your life, the ones that came from painful experience. You remember them, don't you? You remember them more clearly than anything you learned in school. And they inform your decisions in ways that book knowledge never could. That's because earned wisdom lives in your body, not just your mind. It's integrated into who you are at a deep level. It's not information you can forget. It's understanding that becomes part of your fundamental way of being. The person who's failed multiple times has a wisdom about failure that someone who's only read about failure can never have. They know what failure actually feels like. They know what it takes to recover. They know which strategies work and which don't. Not theoretically, but practically, in their bones. The person who's experienced real loss has a wisdom about what matters that someone who's only imagined loss can never access. They know what's actually important because they've felt what it's like when it's gone. The person who's been through financial struggle has a wisdom about money that someone who's always been comfortable can never understand. They know what scarcity actually demands. They know what resourcefulness actually looks like. They know the real stakes in a way that theory can't teach. Nietzsche would tell you, your current struggle is earning you wisdom that will serve you for the rest of your life. Wisdom about yourself, about other people, about how the world actually works rather than how you wished it worked. This wisdom is expensive. It costs you pain, time, mistakes, sometimes things you valued. But it's also invaluable, because once you have it, it permanently changes your capacity to navigate life effectively. The comfortable person makes decisions based on theory, hope, and what sounds reasonable. The person who struggled makes decisions based on earned wisdom about what actually works and what definitely doesn't. You're earning that wisdom right now. Every mistake you make in this struggle is teaching you something. Every failure is showing you what doesn't work. Every difficulty is revealing truths about yourself and the world that you couldn't have learned any other way. That wisdom will be with you forever. Long after this specific struggle is over, long after the pain has faded, the wisdom remains. It becomes part of who you are and how you operate. That's the fifth gift, the gift of earned wisdom, the gift of learning lessons so deep they become part of your permanent way of being in the world. The sixth gift, your struggles, give you genuine empathy and connection. Here's a gift of struggle that might surprise you. Your suffering gives you the capacity to genuinely connect with others who are suffering. It gives you real empathy, not the performative kind, but the kind that comes from having been there yourself. Nietzsche understood that people who've never suffered lack the capacity to truly understand others' pain. They can be sympathetic in an abstract way. They can feel sorry for people, but they can't actually connect with suffering they've never experienced. It remains theoretical to them. But when you've struggled, when you've suffered, when you've been through real difficulty, you develop the capacity to recognize and connect with that experience in others. Not to fix it or explain it away, but to simply be present with it because you know what it's like. Think about the people in your life who've truly understood you during difficult times. Were they the ones who'd always had it easy and were trying to be supportive? Or were they the ones who'd been through similar struggles and could say, "I know," and you could feel that they actually did know? There's a depth of connection that only shared struggle creates, a recognition between people who've both faced the fire, an understanding that doesn't need explanation because it's based on common experience. Your current struggle is giving you access to that understanding. It's teaching you what it actually feels like to go through this particular kind of difficulty. And that understanding will allow you to connect with others going through similar struggles in ways that people who haven't experienced it never can. This might seem like a small thing, but Nietzsche recognized it as one of the most valuable aspects of suffering, the capacity for genuine human connection, the ability to sit with someone in their pain without trying to fix it or minimize it or rush them through it. The comfortable person, when confronted with someone else's suffering, often tries to solve it or explain it away or point out the silver lining. Why? Because they're uncomfortable with suffering. They haven't learned to sit with it. They need it to not be that bad. But the person who's suffered knows you can't solve some things. You can't fix some pain. Sometimes the only thing you can do is acknowledge it, be present with it, and let the person know they're not alone in it. That capacity for presence is rare, it's valuable, and it only comes from having been through difficulty yourself. Your struggle is also changing how you see other people's struggles. You're less likely to judge, less likely to assume they should just get over it or try harder. More likely to recognize that struggle is real and hard, and sometimes all you can do is persist through it. This understanding changes your relationships. It deepens your connections. It allows you to be actually helpful to people going through hard times rather than just performatively supportive. That's the sixth gift, the gift of genuine empathy, the gift of being able to truly connect with others through shared understanding of struggle. What Nietzsche understood, strength without suffering is impossible. Let me bring this all together with what Nietzsche truly understood that most people miss. He didn't just say suffering can make you stronger. He said strength without suffering is literally impossible. You cannot develop real strength without resistance. You cannot build genuine character without adversity. You cannot become resilient without being tested. You cannot gain wisdom without mistakes. You cannot develop deep empathy without experiencing pain. Every single valuable quality you could want to develop requires struggle, not as an unfortunate side effect, but as the essential ingredient. This is why people who try to avoid all suffering end up weak, not because they're bad people, but because they're trying to develop strength without the only thing that creates it. They want the outcome without the process. And it doesn't work that way. Nietzsche saw people everywhere trying to eliminate all difficulty from their lives, thinking that comfort was the goal, and he watched them become weak, shallow, unfulfilled, because they were trying to live without the very thing that makes life meaningful. Your struggles aren't obstacles on the path to strength. They are the path. Your difficulties aren't problems preventing your growth. They are the growth itself, in real time. This doesn't mean you should seek out suffering for its own sake. That would be masochistic and pointless. But it means when suffering inevitably comes, when struggle shows up in your life, Your relationship to it determines everything. You can see it as a curse, something unfair that shouldn't be happening to you. You can spend your energy resenting it, asking why you, wishing it would go away. You can see yourself as a victim of circumstances that are preventing you from being happy. Or you can see it as Nietzsche did, as a gift, as the raw material of your transformation, as the essential ingredient in becoming someone extraordinary, as the forge in which your character is being shaped. Same struggle, same pain, same difficulty, but completely different relationship to it. And that relationship determines whether your struggle destroys you or creates you. Your choice, curse or gift. So here's where we are. You're struggling with something right now. That's not going to change immediately. The difficulty you're facing isn't going to magically disappear just because you understand it differently. But your relationship to it can change today. Right now, you can keep seeing it as a curse, as something that shouldn't be happening, as evidence that life is unfair, or that you're unlucky, or that something's wrong with you. You can keep resenting it, fighting against it, wishing it would end. And if you do that, you'll suffer and gain nothing from it. You'll endure the pain, but miss the gifts. You'll go through the difficulty but emerge unchanged, having wasted the opportunity for transformation. Or you can choose to see it as Nietzsche did, as a gift, as your struggles revealing who you actually are so you can build on reality instead of delusion. As circumstances forcing you to develop capabilities you'd never build in comfort. As difficulty clarifying what actually matters to you. As pain connecting you to deeper strength than you knew you had. As experience earning you wisdom that cannot be taught. As shared suffering giving you genuine empathy and connection. Same struggle, same pain, but one relationship to it leaves you bitter and unchanged. The other transforms you into someone more capable, more wise, more resilient, more whole. Nietzsche chose transformation. He took every bit of his suffering and used it as fuel. He took his pain and turned it into philosophy that's still changing lives more than a century after his death. Not because he was special or superhuman, but because he refused to see his struggles as curses. He insisted on finding the gift in them. He demanded that his suffering means something. That choice is in front of you right now. Your struggle is giving you the same gifts Nietzsche gave him. The revelation of who you actually are, the forced development of new capabilities, the clarification of what matters, the connection to deeper strength, the earning of wisdom, the capacity for genuine empathy. But you only receive those gifts if you choose to see them, if you choose to use your struggle rather than just endure it, if you choose transformation rather than victimhood. The struggle is happening either way. The only question is whether you'll let it forge you into something stronger or just beat you down into something bitter. Nietzsche made his choice. Now you make yours. Your struggles are the greatest gift you'll ever receive, but only if you're brave enough to see them that way. Now go use them.